Hello, fellow Movie Crusaders, and welcome to another episode of Sean's Movie Crusades. My name's Sean Wasserkrug, and today we're going to be reviewing a film that just got dropped on video on demand called Love and Monsters. This movie kind of, like most films of 2020, because obviously with the movie theaters closed down for the most part due to COVID, or movies being not released because of COVID, a lot of these films just kind of pop, the trailer pops up, and then all of a sudden it just gets dropped like 2 weeks later. So there's a lot of films that have just kind of been sneaking up on a lot of people, and Love and Monsters is definitely one of those films for me. It was I saw a trailer pop up for it, and obviously the first thing I saw was Dylan O'Brien's face, who I actually am personally a big fan of Dylan O'Brien. I've been watching him ever since he really started out on MTV's Teen Wolf, and then obviously through the Maze Runner series. I've always been a big fan of Dylan O'Brien. I like his charm, and I hope that he goes on to bigger and better things. So when I saw his face on the little screen for the trailer, I had to check this out, and this trailer really hooked me. It definitely looked like something that looked like a lot of fun, but could also go really bad in terms of just like these kinds of films, because these films have one of those two tracks. It's either a really, really good one that you just are shocked and surprised by, or it's a really, really poor film that you just were like, what did you expect? So with Love and Monsters, it was kind of a toss-up of what it was going to be, but the trailer did enough to sell me on trying to check it out. So let's go ahead and jump to a review and see exactly what I thought of Love and Monsters. The plot of Love and Monsters is in a monster-infested world. Joel, played by Dylan O'Brien, learns his girlfriend is just 80 to 85 miles away, and to make the dangerous journey, Joel discovers his inner hero to be with the girl of his dreams. So yeah, basically, and the Joel character goes over this in the beginning of the film, kind of like in the credits area. An asteroid comes to Earth. They destroy the asteroid, but the remnants of it fall to Earth and causes all of the bugs, insects, reptiles, amphibians to grow to enormous size, plus effectively taking over the Earth and killing over 95% of the population. So most of the people are hiding in bunkers, caves, all this kind of stuff to basically survive the creatures. And that's kind of the world we're in, kind of like a Walking Dead world without the zombies, but with these monster creatures instead, or a zombie land, for example, which I would say that this film is very close to more of a zombie land type feel than something like The Walking Dead or any other kind of zombie kind of film, if you want to look at it like a comparison, but instead of zombies, these creatures themselves. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Dylan O'Brien. I've always liked the way he just portrays his characters, kind of like a sarcastic, smart mouth kid, but he's kind of a dork, but he's got that charm to be a leading man. He probably is one of those guys who will probably, for the most part, be a supporting actor to main stars. But in a movie like this, where he is given the reins of a lead role, I actually think Dylan O'Brien did a great job in this. His Joel character is likable because Dylan O'Brien is a likable guy, and he's got a good character arc journey that he has to go through. From he's a guy who basically, right when the monster apocalypse happened, he basically has been seeing the girl of his dreams, played by Jessica Henwick, who plays Amy. Many people know her from Iron Fist or Game of Thrones. They're basically just finally falling in love with each other, and everything's going great. And then the apocalypse happens, and they get separated. And while she is only 80 to 85 miles away, with everything that's going on the ground level in the world, that seems like an impossible task because they can't drive cars. So he will have to walk that entire way when literally everyone says you will die within a mile of leaving the bunker that he's in. And he's also just not really given much of a chance because he's got a fear of everything for the most part. Now, and what I like about his fear, unlike something like a Hubie Halloween where he just screams ridiculously because he's scared, he more just gets frozen when he's scared. Like, he freezes. And in a world like this, if there's a creature coming at you and you freeze, you're dead. So everyone in his bunker, they always kind of coddle him and keep him away from anything dangerous because they know he's a liability to them and he'll just get them all killed. So he decides that he just doesn't want to live a life without Amy anymore and decides to just go on this journey on his own, whether he dies or gets to her. He's tired of just being the one dude in the bunker that no one really, loves or confides in. So on his journey, like I said, it's a great journey character arc because he has to get over his fears and he has to kind of not necessarily become a man, but just kind of learn to step up to the moment and be the person that he needs to be in a world like this. And along the way, he meets a dog named Boy, and this dog is great throughout. So it almost kind of becomes a boy and his dog story as well. And then he also meets two other survivors through his journey, played by the always awesome Michael Rooker, who plays Clyde. Of course, everyone knows him as either Merle from Walking Dead or Yanu from Guardians of the Galaxy. And then we also got Ariana Greenblatt, who plays Minnow, who is at first a little annoying, but she grows on you really, really quick. And maybe people might know her from anyone from Avengers Infinity War. She plays young Gamora. And their journey together works so well. You go from a boy and his dog story to a group story, to back to a boy and his dog because they separate because they're going through different journeys. But the monsters in this film, they're, like I said, and then they're animals that have just grown really big, but they make them look more grotesque. They look great. And obviously this is also in the future because there's like a robot in this at one point. But there's just these scenes. This is a very fun, likable movie. I enjoyed this movie throughout. There wasn't really anything I disliked about the film. Could there have been more monsters? Yes. But everyone in this film, even Jessica Henwick as Amy, I actually really enjoyed her character. There wasn't really a performance in this film that I disliked. There's this one guy named Cap, played by Dan Ewing. He's very just Australian, and could he have been played by a Hemsworth probably, or even a Dan Stevens kind of character or actor. But Dan Ewing does a solid job with it. There's no real bad performances in this film. But it is streamlined through this film by Dylan O'Brien and the dog. And then he meets people along the way like Michael Rooker and Ariana Greenblatt. And then, of course, Jessica Henwick. All these characters are likable. They're fun to watch. You got scares. You got action. You got humor. You got sadness. There's one scene near the start of the third act that is a beautiful scene. Incredibly well done by Dylan O'Brien. And I just love this world that we got introduced to here, because this isn't based on any books. This is literally an original idea. Shocker. Now, yes, it does take parts from certain things, like I said, like a zombie land. But it's something just new and different. And I like the actors in this film. I like the characters that by the end of the film, I wanted more. I want more from this world, whether it be sequels or a television series. I wanted more from Love and Monsters. I want to see more of these unique creatures and these characters, and just be with these characters more than the hour 45 minutes that I got to see of this film. So in terms of a recommendation, like I said, it's on video on demand, so you can rent this. And I know renting movies right now is not necessarily something people want to do, but I definitely think this is, and for me, and like I said, this is for me, it is easily one of my favorite films of 2020 so far. A complete surprise. Definitely something that I was not expecting to enjoy nearly as much. And it was one of my surprise hits of the year and one of my favorites of the year so far. So going to recommendations, I highly recommend Love and Monsters. I get that you might not want to pay a rental charge for it, but when it does get released eventually in DVD, streaming, what have you, definitely check out Love and Monsters. It is one that I will definitely go back and see many times. I was actually bummed when my rental was only 48 hours, because I know I would want to watch it again, but I probably won't get to watch it again in the next 48 hours. But I'm not going to spend $20 each time to watch a rental. So I'm just going to wait for it to come out. But high recommendations for Love and Monsters. Definitely check it out. Going to my overall score, I'm going to give Love and Monsters a 9.1 out of 10. Is it a 9.1 out of 10 film in terms of like everything that aspects a great film? No, but in terms of what I liked about the film and how I personally enjoyed it and everything that was in the film, it's a 9.1 for me. You might not think so, but if you don't think so, that's why you guys make your own videos. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you guys did, go and hit that like button. If you guys feel like this review is worth sharing, go ahead and hit that share button. But most importantly, don't forget the subscribe button to the channel so you guys stay up to date with all the latest videos that pop up on Sean's Movie Crusades. And of course, don't forget to follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. Coming up next, we have probably one of the more talked about films of 2020, Netflix's The Trial of Chicago 7. So be on the lookout for that. And until next time, in case I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Movie Crusaders.